Hello everybody, Crypto Chaperone here, and today I'm going to try to make a quick little video for you guys, make it a little shorter than my usual videos, even when I say I'm going to make them quick. A little bit of action going on today in our cryptocurrency market cap. Our market cap did hit up to $783 billion, and now we have a pullback down to about $746 billion, so close to $40 billion of a pullback in about an 8 to 12 hour span. Nothing crazy though. We've seen things like $50 to $100 billion pulled out in shorter time than that. So just the average cryptocurrency movement. But something that is changing is the Bitcoin dominance. It's actually slowly rising. Now, if you've been paying attention to your portfolio or you've been watching charts throughout the day, you will notice that Bitcoin has been taking kind of like these little steps throughout the day here. Now, every time it takes one of these steps, more or less, altcoins kind of get like a little bit of a pullback. So it kind of correlates with just depending on how Bitcoin is rising. So potentially as Bitcoin goes up more and more in value, you're going to see these altcoins start to pull out in value because a lot of people are going to start to sell off their altcoins to get back into Bitcoin as Bitcoin goes up, because they're going to start to take the profits out of Bitcoin. And as more and more people start to sell their altcoins for Bitcoin, altcoin prices are going to drop more. People are going to attempt to take out whatever profits they can as it starts to drop more. And you're going to have people that, they've invested more or less 100% or maybe 80% of their portfolio in one coin, and it continuously drops, and they're going to have to start to sell out. So as they're selling out, there's going to be people in there that have capital, and they're going to start to buy these coins up, and eventually you're going to see these coins spike back up to new all-time highs. But this is just a slight pullback in the market at the moment. I mean, we have seen tremendous growth over the past week. There are coins that are hitting exponential growth numbers, and that's actually something I want to talk to you guys about today. Now, recently I've actually moved most of my portfolio and all of my trading over to Binance, because I do not feel comfortable on Bittrex, and I actually don't feel comfortable on any exchanges. But any of my trading that I am doing now, I am doing on Binance, and I don't really put any money back on Bittrex. A lot of these Bitcoin exchanges and cryptocurrency exchanges are starting to see problems with so much traffic coming in that really their support can't keep up with things that are going on. They want all this verification from everybody that's on their site, and they really can't keep up with all this stuff that's going on and everything that they're starting to require. Places like Kraken, if you've noticed, they were updating their servers. Binance, I noticed they redid their app kind of when you start their app, and they've been updating their servers and stuff like that over the past couple days. And Bittrex actually had one of their servers crash, or one of the places where they host their server actually fell for a couple hours, and people were freaking out about that. And that's always a problem when you're dealing with exchanges, more or less, is it's a risk. You're going to be putting your money out into this place where you don't own your cryptocurrencies and you don't own anything from the wallet. These are not decentralized exchanges like Ether Delta. Now, I am also staying away from Ether Delta lately because it has been acquired by some new ownership. And if you were on Ether Delta recently, you would have noticed that they had an ICO open. And more or less what I think was happening was they probably purchased Ether Delta for a hefty sum and were trying to recoup their entire purchase capital in an ICO. And they probably made all their money back that they bought the site for. And now they're going to continuously make money because they have these coins that are going to go up in value and whatnot. So I think that was probably just a way for them to get some money real quick. I don't think that was anything really legitimate. They didn't need the coins to sustain the website in any way. It was running fine without them. So I'm sure we're going to see more things like that happen throughout time. But if you start to invest in these decentralized exchanges and these coins that are built from the ground up as a decentralized exchange, like 0x, I think Kyber Network's a decentralized exchange, COSS, they're a decentralized exchange. And these are going to start to grow, and you're going to have more of these come throughout time, and it's going to be a safer place for people to trade their cryptocurrencies because you don't have to put any of your personal info on these exchanges, and you're not going to have to really put your coins out on this exchange's wallet. Now, when you put your coins on Bittrex and stuff like that, it is stored on their own wallet, and if they were to get hacked or something like that, most of the time they keep a decent amount of their funds in a hot wallet or something like that, No, there's funds that they actually keep moving is in a hot wallet, but their funds that they will keep a mass amount in is probably their cold storage, and they usually have a decent amount of verification and authentication they have to go through to get those out of there. So decently, that's a decent amount of your funds are always safe. But if something were to happen to Bittrex, like other exchanges that we've seen, if Bittrex were to go down, they would potentially take, even if your funds weren't taken, they might take some of your funds and give them to other people to recoup their losses and make it a situation like I think it was BTCE or something like that, how they took everybody's funds and kind of made it into one pool and then gave everybody back a fraction of what was originally taken in general. So everybody lost the same amount, which, I mean, it's fair for people. I would be happy about that for people who did lose money if I did lose money, but if my money wasn't affected in any way, I would not be too happy about that. If I had to pay for people, even potentially whales who maybe had hundreds of thousands of dollars in there that had it stolen, and you might be somebody that only has maybe $5,000 or $6,000 in there, and you had it stolen, or you have to take some of your money out to pay these huge whales that were in there. Definitely something over time. Be wary of where you're trading your money and what you're trading your money on. If you can, keep your money in a hardware wallet or just any personal wallet on your desktop that you can download for any of these coins that do have a personal wallet support, or any of these coins that are ERC20 tokens. You can download a My Ether wallet from there. You can create one, or you can get a Ledger or a Trezor, and you can access those. And I think a Trezor you might be able to put your ERC20 tokens on, but I am sure that you can put your ERC20 tokens on a Ledger. So if you guys do want to invest in those, it is definitely something wise to invest in, as these as I always say, these ever-growing assets are becoming ever more valuable, as we've seen these have hit new all-time highs. So as we've seen, Bitcoin is now growing up. We saw Bitcoin that was sitting down in the $12,000 to $13,000 region for a while, and I think what was happening was Bitcoin boosted up to about $20,000. You had a lot of people around the holidays, around Thanksgiving and the end of November, more or less, that were coming into cryptocurrencies that had no idea what was going on. I like to call them the ignorant money, because they don't know what they're investing in. They just see this exponential growth going on and they want to get into it. So they bought into Bitcoin, potentially an all-time high, and Bitcoin started to pull back and these altcoins started to go up. So maybe they even lost some of their initial funds, or they might have just pulled out a little bit of profit and started getting into these altcoins. And as you saw that, you saw Bitcoin start to pull back in price. Now, what was going on potentially was, I don't know for sure, but we saw Bitcoin sustain its price down in the $12,000 and $13,000 region for a while. So essentially, when you watch that in cryptocurrencies, that usually means that accumulation is going on. So you might have seen bigger investors, bigger institutional money kind of accumulating Bitcoin down at these low prices now, since it was down there. And there's so much potential for Bitcoin to keep growing. So why would you not buy into it at the lowest price that you possibly can? I'm sure they probably let everybody run off in the altcoin world for a while and start to trade and get their money up in altcoins, and you're going to start to see Bitcoin's price start to go up slowly and creep slowly, and then you're going to see a massive boom. And everybody's going to try to get back into Bitcoin, and they're going to be using their profits that they initially gained from trading in these altcoins to buy back into these Bitcoins, which are all owned by people that bought their Bitcoins off them at the lowest price they could have, down in the $12,000 and $13,000 region recently. And they're going to be selling these Bitcoins back to them for their altcoins. And they're going to be buying their altcoins more or less while they're selling their Bitcoins at a time like this, when you're seeing altcoins going down in market. And this is going to be continuously happening. You're going to have people that are accumulating Bitcoin at a low price and then selling at a high price, and people that are trying to follow the Bitcoin train and get on that because they think Bitcoin's going up to $100,000 now or whatnot. So they want to be a part of that while it's going up, and they're going to keep following the money and the big market trends as they're going and fluctuating. So don't be afraid. Try to keep your hands strong in times like this. Don't sell unless you really have an idea of what you're going to sell into. If you think Bitcoin is going to go to $20,000 and your cryptocurrency might drop more than a certain amount of percent than you feel comfortable with, maybe pull out 25 or 30% into Bitcoin and take that rise up. And then when Bitcoin hits a potential amount that you want to pull out of, pull out your Bitcoin profit and go back into the coin you initially invested in, and you might be able to buy more than what you initially sold, or hopefully you will be able to. And if you really have more or less hope or faith in that coin, or confidence in that coin in the long term, or even in a short term, just because of a slight market pullback at the moment, then you should be able to see some small profit benefits. Now, I also want to reiterate that I am not a financial advisor. I like to say this in every video, and I also say it below. And this is not financial advice. And as we go on, I am also going to refrain from saying any investment values that I put into things. More or less, if I do an investment, I'll try to give it like a 1 through 5 value, One being something I'm not too invested in, and 5 being something I'm heavily invested in. But I'm not really going to give out any specific numbers and stuff like that, just to avoid any possible repercussions from that. So, speaking about heavy markets and big trends in the markets, something I want to talk about, while I talked about how I do trade on Binance a lot more recently, if you've noticed, the biggest gainer on Binance throughout the day is AERON. Now, AERON, at the highest point I saw it up, it was up 455% throughout the day. So that is 4.5 times gains throughout the day you could have made. You could have put $10,000 into this today, and you could have had, what, $50,000, 4.5 times, so, or 45,000, or yeah, whatever. So definitely room to make profit, and you're going to see these things blowing up. Now, I looked all over the place. I looked on their message board and their announcements, their Twitter. I couldn't really find anything specific that has happened within the past 24 hours that would have caused this boost. A lot of people think it is just because it was cheap. It's got some sort of a future behind it, so they think that it is going to blow up. And you're going to see that with a lot of these cryptocurrencies. Potentially there might have been just like something released somewhere on a 4chan forum or something like that could have got a lot of people buying, or you might have had some sort of fake news released somewhere on Twitter where a lot of people might have started buying in it. But basically what AERON is, it is a blockchain that they want to use for airlines. Essentially, it's going to be to help get rid of any sort of human error in airline accidents that happen. They say, if you scroll down here, you can look at their stuff. They say that 57% of airline accidents are human factor, 22% are technical factor, 12% are weather conditions, and 9% are other. Now, essentially, they want to take all of these possible things that could go on with airlines, and they want to put it on blockchain. They want to have your pilots training and all their training logs and all their flight logs on blockchain. They want to have all the airline maintenance, fuel, and all that stuff on a blockchain. And essentially what you'll be able to do, even as a passenger, is you'll be able to maybe it'll be on your ticket like a little barcode, and you'll be able to scan it, and it will be individually created to the plane that you're on, and it'll show you everything about that plane. It'll show you about your pilots, how much experience they have, and everything like that. And it'll even show you when the last time that your plane was maintained and things like that. And that will definitely help to cut back on any sort of accidents that happen. They say that there are 100,000 flights worldwide made daily, and there are 2 million people that are served on those flights. And there are, I forget how many they said there were. They said there's a decent amount of 3,302 air transport accidents a year. It's definitely something that could have a future. I didn't really look too much into it, but it's up 455% in one day. So a lot of people are probably just continuously buying into it because it is going up. And that's what you're going to see with a lot of these coins, is just because one person buys into it, or one group of people starts buying into it and starts pumping it, you have so many people that just want to keep making these gains. They see these gains, how you saw Tronics going up like 700, 1,000 times over the past week, and other people will think this is going to be that next coin, and they're just buying into it, when essentially it could just be a quick pump and dump. So might be something to watch over the next couple of days. Last thing I really want to talk about is, people have heard over the last week or so, over the last couple of days more or less, Intel had a bug in their chips. So essentially what happened was the Intel CEO sold about half of his shares in the company right before this was released to the public, this information that there was a bug in the Intel chips. Essentially what can happen is people can get into your, I'm not real technical, so I'm not sure how they do it, but there's a thing I saw on Twitter of someone typing in a password. As you know, you can see like the bullets when you type in your password, so people can't see it if someone is like looking over your shoulder, if someone has some sort of screen watching software or malware on your computer. Now, what they can do is they can run a software meltdown. I think that's a program, and you can run some other programs you have to run as well with this. That's not the only thing you have to run. And you can essentially, I think it runs through plugins and pop-ups and stuff like that, and advertisements that are displayed on your pages. And as people type in their passwords, somebody can essentially see what is being typed in. You can see, for example, here as he's typing in right here, it is coming up clear and just clear text what he's typing. So you definitely want to be aware, if you don't have any two-factor authentication on your exchanges or your wallets or stuff like that, or any way that you can access your cryptocurrencies. You want to be aware in times like this. You don't want to be accessing them very often if you don't have to, just to be looking at them for no reason. And there are supposed to be some updates pushed by Windows, Apple, and Linux, I think, within the next couple of days to help block out this bug that was found in the Intel chips. So definitely, guys, if you do get an update or some sort of software update on your computer within the next 3 to 5 days, probably, I would say, hopefully it would be out within, definitely stay on top of that and update it as quick as you can, because you can fall victim to phishing and hacking, and you could potentially lose a lot of money, or you could have just your passwords taken now and they might save them for a later date, and they could be potentially even sold or just saved if you use your passwords over and over again, and they could try that password for other accounts and things that your email and stuff are associated with. So maybe even after the update is pushed, it would probably be best for you guys to update your passwords, change your passwords, everything like that, to avoid any future implications from this. I don't know what I'm saying. Getting to the end of the video. But for the most part, guys, that's all I have for you today. Trying to stay safe in this ever-growing space, more or less. If you haven't yet, definitely activate your two-factor authentication on any places that you possibly can do it. Especially on any of your exchanges. You definitely want to have two-factor authentication on those, because people can get into that with this software and they will be potentially able to just steal your cryptocurrencies. But if you do have your two-factor authentication on there, as long as it's tied to a good device that they don't have access to as well, you should be okay. So try to stay safe in this ever-growing space, guys. That's all I've got for you guys today. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will be back next week, hopefully with my ICO review that I've been talking about for a while. So if you guys haven't heard about it, I've been talking about Blue Zell, the ICO that's coming out, and I've been working on pretty much just a lot of research about it. I'm going to try to make it a quick condensed ICO review, because a lot of my ICO reviews run a while, and I'm hopefully going to be coming out with that in the next couple of days. If you haven't looked into Blue Zell, look into it, and if you don't feel like looking into it yourself, stay tuned on my channel, and I'll be coming to you guys with an ICO review about that great ICO that is upcoming in this month. Actually, in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be coming up. So that's all I got for you guys. I'll talk to you Monday. Enjoy. Have a great weekend.